بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. So Alhamdulillah, after Q&A and short break, we start our third session. So those who want to establish justice need Imam Husayn alayhi salam. No revolution reform occurred in the Shia world without reference to Imam Husayn. This influence even extended to non-Muslim reformers who, upon learning about Imam Husayn, gained insights from his legacy. The question arises, why is it that other reformers don't use Imam Husayn as their source of inspiration? Is it because they knew him and didn't find him what they need, or they didn't know him? We can say the problem is that they didn't know him. Unfortunately, even today, alhamdulillah, in the recent decades, there have been great progress. But even today, there are many people in the world. If you go to different parts of the world, outside, Shia populations, Muslim populations, many people may not have even heard the name of Imam Husayn, or if they have heard the name of Imam Husayn, they don't know about what he did. And unfortunately, you find many people, they know people who are even more recent and not comparable to Imam Husayn alayhi salam, but they don't know Imam Husayn. Maybe every person who has gone to a school knows Nelson Mandela, knows Gandhi, knows Mother Teresa, which is good, but they don't know Imam Husayn alayhi salam. They don't have any connection because they don't know him. And we can say that there are different factors for this. For sure, enemies didn't want Imam Husayn to be known. They did everything possible to destroy his reputation. Even they were not able to tolerate his burial place, his shrine, pilgrimage to Karbala. We find the history that people were killed just because of going to ziyarah. Karbala was, destroyed. But we can also say that sadly, we Shia also have not done our part as a whole. Maybe some people have worked hard, but as a whole, we have not done enough. We have not done justice to Imam Husayn alayhi salam. We had 14 centuries of time, but still we have not been able to show Imam Husayn to all people of the world in the way that they can understand, in the way that they can relate to. It is our fault that only a few non-Shias and non-Muslims know him. And many times it's by chance. Many times. Sometimes it's because one Shia or one group approached them, introduced Imam Husayn to them properly in the way that engaged them. But many times they come to know by chance, because there is no systematic introduction to Imam Husayn's movement for all people. Many of us prefer that we do our own majalis for Imam Husayn, we do our ziyarah, we do our niyaz, and we think that is enough. It satisfies us. So this means that we have kept Imam Husayn for ourselves. Perhaps unconsciously, some Shia think Imam Husayn is for us. We don't need to introduce him to others. They don't appreciate or they don't believe in him. It's for us, and let us enjoy, let us benefit from our connection and what we do for Imam Husayn. So the aim has not been to see how humanity can benefit more from Imam Husayn. The aim was how we can benefit more from Imam Husayn. No problem, we can have this, but on the side also, at least, even if not 50%, but at least 10% of our attention and resources should go for introducing Imam Husayn and sharing Imam Husayn with other people. I'm saying even 10% of our resources and attention should go to this. But I don't think even 1% goes to that. For example, if you ask any community, what do they do in the course of a year for Imam Husayn? How many sessions they have, how much they spend money, how much they spend energy, etc., which is great. Inshallah, everyone is doing nice things and sincerely, it's great. But this is not enough. Even 10%, 5% is not planned to be done in the way that can introduce Imam Husayn to others, bring others, reach out to others, support people who are doing awareness campaign about Imam Husayn, etc. Many of us think, or at least act as if Imam Husayn is only for us. We are not really serious even when we say that we want to introduce Imam Husayn to others. For some of us, this may be the last thing on our list of priorities. If it is on the list of priorities, this is the last thing. First of all, we want to enjoy our morning gatherings in the ways in which we were brought up, and we do not care that much whether outsiders understand or whether it makes sense to them or not. Sometimes if an outsider wants to know about Imam Husayn and know the feeling of the Shia, etc., if they come to our program, to our majalis, sometimes it can be helpful, but sometimes can be actually harmful. Because in some places, what they do is not attractive and doesn't actually make sense to others. Sometimes even gives bad image, depending on different communities, different practices that they have. But the minimum is that most of the time, an outsider cannot relate to what they do and say and practice. I'm not saying to change all our majalis so that we cater for outsiders, but at least we should have some programs planned especially in the way that outsiders can relate to, can understand, can appreciate, something informative, educational, inspirational about Imam Husayn alayhi salam. So let me read this footnote because it's important. Unfortunately, Some of us have kept Imam Husayn alayhi salam inside the prison of our own community. We have not let the light of Imam Husayn spread out to reach everyone. You know, sometimes enemies want to restrict. Sometimes friends, out of love, restrict. They didn't want to do this, but they so much loved Imam Husayn that they didn't let this light go out. They kept it inside. When people want to know who Husayn alayhi salam was, what can they do nowadays? For example, if they live in a certain neighborhood and want to know about Imam Husayn, what would they do? If they are really curious people, that they themselves take the initiative. Some people, we need to take the initiative and reach out to them. But suppose there is someone who's really curious and, wants to know more and, says, okay, let me find out about who is Husayn. So they would probably decide to go to a gathering of the lovers of Imam Husayn and observe what happens. However, do we really believe that our gatherings are structured in such a way that if an outsider attends them, they would benefit from them? Or would understand what Husayn's ideas are? And outside the gatherings, we are community of Husayn, followers of Husayn, Shia of Husayn. So if, for example, they wanted to know Husayn's ideas about family life, do we think that by looking at our families, they will realize what Husayn wants from us in this regard? If they want to understand how a child should respect their parents, could they look at our children to discover that? If they want to know how Imam Husayn viewed kindness and mercy towards one's neighbors, would they see that looking at their Shia neighbor? By looking at Shia neighbor? When we do not, inshallah we do, but if we do not demonstrate these values of Imam Husayn, and yet we say that we are lovers of Imam Husayn, we simply confuse people about him. We do not allow them to access the true and original Imam Husayn. They look at him through us. And instead of us being mirrors that reflect the light of Imam Husayn, we may, na'uzu billah, misguide people. We may give wrong impression. Of course, this does not apply to everyone and every community, but I can say at least some of our communities, some of our people are like this. They don't represent Imam Husayn's legacy and teachings. Not to mention the fact that, unfortunately, not only we don't have any special plan sometimes to educate people about Imam Husayn, sometimes what people see is actually the opposite. Those who are living near community centers, they just see crowd, noise, lots of, rubbish on the street sometimes after the program is finished. So it's not that they are excited that, for example, our neighboring Shia center is, doing something magnificent, in Muharram, in Safar. These are nice people, and I must try to know more about them, who is inspiring them, etc. Sometimes they just see things that are not attractive. They see noise, they see crowd, they see lots of rubbish, wastage of food, etc. I'm not saying this is the case all the time or most of the time. No, maybe 1%. But this should not happen. Before Muharram comes, we should try to reach out to our neighbors. Before Muharram, invite them. First, maybe send a letter with someone, not by post, but maybe by someone, or by post, whatever, depends on the culture of those people. Some people appreciate if they see, through a person, sometimes through post. Give a little idea so that if they don't do anything other than reading this, they already get some information. But invite them at this particular time. We are very pleased to receive you as our guest, because we are soon commemorating special, programs. We want to talk about it, get your opinion, share with you. So we can have a special program before Muharram, one month before, 2-3 weeks before, educate our neighborhood, and then say, if you want to get a spirit of it in this particular night, please come and visit us, so that at least we can spend one night or half of a night in Muharram when we have crowd, especially programmed for outsiders. So every year we can educate our neighbors in this way. Then, in addition to neighbors, people can invite their teachers, their classmates, their colleagues. So little by little, this awareness can build up. This is just one way. There can be, films, there can be, literature, there can be many things, but personal relations are very important. And I think this is the right of people who live in our neighborhood to know what we are doing and why we are doing these things, and to introduce to them the beautiful treasures that we have. Imam Husayn alayhi salam is always a source of inspiration for anyone who is concerned about justice. If understood properly, he would be chosen over other role models as the one who sacrificed the most for dignity and justice. When we say his tragedy was the greatest tragedy, it means that his sacrifice was the greatest. What he offered was the greatest. Of course, those who don't know Imam Husayn, they may think we exaggerate. So there's no need to say this to them. We need to tell them the facts. Let them judge by themselves. We don't just say, he's the best, he's the best. Let them judge. Give them the facts. Alhamdulillah, when people know about the facts, even if they are Christians, if they are Hindus, if they are Buddhists, they appreciate. If they just know the facts. It's impossible someone knows the exact facts and would say, for me, Hussein and Yazid are the same, or Yazid was better, or Hussein was a little good. If they know the facts, they cannot resist appreciating the great example of Imam Husayn alayhi salam, who sacrificed more for justice and dignity than Imam Husayn alayhi salam. For this reason, when Imam Mahdi wants to call for the establishment of justice and dignity, he will refer to Imam Husayn. This makes it clear what he wants. He doesn't want, something personal or tribal or sectarian. He wants universal justice and dignity. And to what extent he is ready to make sacrifice. When he refers to Imam Husayn, it means that he is happy to give everything for this. He and his helpers have no limit in offering whatever they have so that universal justice and dignity can be achieved. So what needs to happen for Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif to start his universal movement? By referring to Imam Husayn. Now we can better understand what is going to happen, because we said now it doesn't make sense to start universal movement for justice by saying that it's a matter of asking for compensation for the blood of Imam Husayn. People of the world today don't understand. The tyrants of people today, they have not taken any position about Imam Husayn. So what needs to happen? When will he be able to stand between the Rukn and Maqam of Kaaba and say, I am calling for the shedding of the blood of Hussein to be compensated? This will only happen when Imam Hussein becomes the central point of focus throughout the world. When everyone knows about him, and when the conflict between truth and falsehood, right and wrong, and good and bad will take shape around Imam Husayn alayhi salam. So the world would be different from now. And it's a matter of awareness. We don't need to make, some buildings or, some infrastructure. So it's a matter of awareness. In other words, the movement will only start when the people of the world will be polarized around Hussein. There will be many non-Muslims who, due to their good-naturedness, will take the side of Imam Hussein. It's not a matter of Shia and non-Shia. It's a matter of who is on the side of human dignity, universal justice, and who is against that, who prioritizes their own interest over interests of people. There are many people in the West who will be amongst the best supporters of Imam Mahdi. So, those who commit injustice or usurp or violate the rights of people will not be in favor of Imam Husayn. Now they are Yazid, but without knowing Yazid. Okay? And they are against Hussein without knowing Hussein. So in the spirit, today is also Ashura. Kulli yawmin Ashura. But not knowing Imam Hussein, not knowing Yazid. So they have no stance about this. And if Imam Mahdi comes and says, I want to ask for compensation for blood of Imam Hussein, the tyrants say, okay, you can do that. We don't mind. Because they don't understand. But if there is a clear line, distinction between those who demand justice and dignity for all and those who are against it, and then those who demand justice and dignity are referring to Imam Hussein as their role model, then the tyrants would say, okay, we are against Hussein. We support what Yazid did. And if we were in his time, we would have done the same. They say, we wish we were in Karbala to do what Yazid did to Hussein. But now we can do it to his followers. When this takes place, then they are counted as killers of Hussein. Because they are happy with that. They endorse that. And they already do it to the followers of Hussein. So, bring them to justice is like bringing the killers of Hussein to justice. This makes complete sense. When will this idea of people being either in favor or of Imam Husayn or against Imam Husayn materialize? Not until Imam Husayn is known to everyone. However, this is not just a matter of publishing some books or booklets. These are important, we should do that. But we must ensure that the true Husayn, rather than the false image of Husayn that some of us currently show and represent, is revealed to the media and eventually to the people of the world. Before the advent of Imam Mahdi, almost everyone will know who Imam Husayn is and what he stood for. Those who struggle for justice would refer to him as their role model. Those who fight against them would question Imam Husayn and his followers. And finally, they would support and show their appreciation of what was committed by Yazid and his people. And as a result, would associate themselves with the killing of Imam Husayn and his family members and companions. So, inshallah, in the next chapter, we will discuss how we can help Imam Husayn, and through helping Imam Husayn, we can help Imam Mahdi and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, this is about what we need to do. Let us go back to that important hadith, which I said is very crucial, and I said we will come back to this hadith. In the night of Ashura, Imam Husayn quoted Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as saying, "Waladi Husayn yuqtalu bitaf Karbala ghariban wahidan atshanan farida." My grandfather said that my son Hussein will be killed in Karbala while he is alone and thirsty and abundant. فَمَنْ نَصَرَهُ فَقَدْ نَصَرَنِي وَنَصَرَ وَلَدَهُ الْقَائِمِ. Whoever helps him has helped me and helped his son Al-Qa'im. So helping Imam Husayn is helping the Prophet in preserving Islam, and is helping Imam Mahdi in establishing universal justice, because Islam must be preserved till universal justice is established. How helping Imam Husayn can prepare us for helping Imam Mahdi? In one of the ziyarat of Imam Husayn, we recite, Assalamu alayka yabna Rasulillah. إن لم أكن أدركت نصرتك بيدي. If I was not able to be with you, to help you with my hand, I didn't manage to offer any help physically. فها أنا ذا وافد إليك بالنصرة. Now here I am offering my help. So Imam Husayn needs our help today, and we can offer help today. It's not just mourning for Imam Husayn. Mourning for Imam Husayn is important, but it should inspire us to hear his call for help and prepare ourselves to help him. فَهَا أَنَذَا وَافِدٌ إِلَيْكَ بِنُصْرَتِي. I have come to you with my help. قَدْ أَجَابَكَ قَلْبِي وَسَمْعِي وَبَصَرِي وَبَدَنِي وَرَأْيِي وَحَوَاي على التسليم لك والخلف الباقي من بعدك. My heart answers your call for help. My ear, my eyes, my body, my opinions are in line with your opinions. My desire and Hawa all are at your service, submitting to you and to Imam Mahdi. Al-Khalaf al-Baqi min ba'dik, those Imams who come after you till we reach Imam Mahdi. فَنُصْرَتِي لَكُمْ مُعَدَّةٌ. My help is ready. I don't need to go and learn. It's not that you say, I need your help. I say, okay, let me go and learn. I need people, let me go and find them. I need networking. Okay, give me 10 years, I will make a good network for you. No, it's ready. So, helping Imam Husayn by helping the next Imams, and in particular now Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Faraj Sharif, through heart, ear, eyes, whole body, our opinion, our desires. So meaning, whatever we do, whatever we believe, whatever we desire, all must be prepared and in line with what Imam of our time, the follower, the true follower of Hussein, wants from us. We are centuries away from Imam Hussein, yet we can still join him and answer his call. When he called out, هَلْ مِن نَاصِرٍ يَنْصُرُنَا, is there any helper to help us? So we can help him or we can deny help. It's not only people at that time denied help or offered help. We can also offer or deny help. Understanding how our heart, hearing, and sight respond to a call requires reflection. For example, when we listen to something that prepares us to serve Imam Husayn's cause, and then we act upon it, it demonstrates how our hearing is responding to his call. So use your ear to learn, to understand what is needed, how to offer it. This is your ear responding. More than any other time in history, we need to be in control of our ears and eyes and heart. Why? Because more than any time else, there are so many distractions. To say the minimum, we say distraction. But there are so many harmful things available that you can listen to, you can watch, that has never been like this. In the past, what could you hear which was harmful? If you go 200 years ago, 300 years ago, if there was a haram music or dancing or something like that, or ghaiba, sins were very simple. If someone was committing in person, in our presence, and we were listening to it. But now, anything which is happening in all over the world now or is recorded from the past is available. So there is endless cases that our hearing can be acting to our harm, to our loss. Seeing the same. How many things can attract our heart, can occupy our heart, which is not godly? So opportunities for learning are great today. Opportunities for connection is great. For example, alhamdulillah, now we are all connected, which was not possible in the past. But if you don't use these things properly, then opportunities for going astray, for doing wrong things, connecting with right people also are a lot, not comparable to any time in the past. So we need to do everything as taslim lak wal khalaf al baghi, everything in the way that helps us in our responsibility for helping Imam Husayn and Imam Mahdi. As helpers, as followers, we should decide. A lover of Imam Husayn should not have plans which disregard their beloved. You cannot say, I have plan for choosing my subject of study in university, or, my career, or where to live, based on my personal preferences, convenience, pleasure. Everything should be done and planned with regards to our Imam and his universal mission and the whole humanity. Our desires, aims, and thoughts must be in line with helping Imam Husayn, and through Imam Husayn, Imam Mahdi. We should not even think we should not even think about useless matters, let alone sinful ones. Our thoughts should be at Imam's service, and therefore always concerned with thinking about how we can help him and how we can bring more light to this world. Our concern must be about how to promote values. Now, here the issue of love gets involved. Love is the thing that can make your life well connected, and everything can find one similar meaning. Love has this magic power of bringing consistency to our actions, to our whole life. A true lover is someone who wakes up in the morning and the first thing that they remember is their beloved. It may even be that they are in the middle of a conversation and yet their heart and mind are with the beloved. When they go to bed, it should be thinking about the beloved. So the last thing you have in mind before sleeping, the first thing you have after you wake up, even during your sleeping, still your mind is with the beloved. We see this in people who have love for another person in, mystics call metaphoric love, ishq majazi. In romantic love, sometimes loves, for example, man loves a woman. All the time thinking about that woman. Even they say that when the blood of one of these lovers, like, we have Layla and Majnoon, we have, Shireen and Farhad. So when the blood of the lover came out of his body, the blood took the shape of the name of the beloved. So when it was flowing on the ground, became, for example, Shireen, which was the name of the beloved. What does it mean? It means that in every drop of blood, the beloved is there. In every breath, the beloved is there. Is Husayn's attraction less than an ordinary beloved? If we do not feel an irresistible attraction to Imam Husayn, then there is only one reason. It's because we have not known him. He said, Wilaya has three elements. One is ma'rifah. If you know Imam Husayn, if you know Imam Mahdi, it's impossible not to love them. Just we don't love them if we don't know them. There are people, the greatest people in your life, the people that you are amazed with. Why you are amazed with them? Because of some of their good qualities, some of the things that they did for you, their kindness, etc. Imam Husayn has all of them by far. Imam Mahdi the same. So a point which should not be neglected is that our Imams, they don't want us to love them for themselves. They don't want to draw our attention to themselves. But our love for them is love for Allah, is al-hubbu fillah. So they bring our attention through themselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they act as mirrors and draw our attention to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are so transparent that when we think of them, we remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not that, na'udhu billah, we get stuck with them, or na'udhu billah, we worship them. In Ziyarat Jami'ah, we say, Man arad Allah bada'a bikum. Whoever seeks Allah starts with you. So they help us to move towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Quran says about Rasulullah, da'iyan ilallah bi'izni. He calls people towards Allah with the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the leave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has permission to do so. If someone wants to reach Allah in a very easy, fast and convenient way, it should be done through knowing and loving Prophet and Ahlul Bayt. Now, we can have a break and inshallah get ready for the last part of our sessions today, inshallah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.